Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, at least rare and above quality, maybe even a few under that. And I'm just going to give you a quick reference, a quick build guide. This is for earlier players, newer players to the game who don't have a lot of experience with this game and other games like it. I won't be going into in-game builds. I won't be going into masteries because that gets a little convoluted and can be very specific depending on how you want to use a champion. So this is really just a quick reference guide for newer players who have a champion and want to know how to put artifacts on them and where to best use them, how to get the most utility out of them for as useful as they can be. So quick disclaimer, I'm not saying that my way is the best way or the only way, and I'm not saying that I know better than everybody else. Again, I'm just trying to put out some helpful information for the players less experienced than I am, to send them in a generally right direction with a champion. So I am going to kind of run through this as I have a lot of these to do. So get your notepads ready, get ready on that pause and rewind button if you need to. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. This video is going to be the Courtier, I believe is how you would pronounce that. Maybe not. Maybe it's really Courtier, but I think it's Courtier. He is a Bannerlords and he's an attack champ. So let's talk about his base stats. Base HP is not bad for a rare attacker. It's okay. It's there. His base attack is pretty nice, and then his base speed is a little on the low side if we're going to be real about it. Little on the low side. So let's see what he's got going on in his kit. Base stats are okay. Base speed's low. Other than that, everything's okay. First skill. Attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a freeze debuff for one turn. So first skill, freeze. Now, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a first skill freeze. I'm not really generally a fan of single target crowd control in an earlier game because it's just so it's specific. There's specific things to do with it. If you're using him in arena, you're looking for a freeze on a specific champ. You're trying to block a revive or block a heal or stop a nuker from getting his turn. Very niche uses for a single target crowd control skill. Now it's nice that it's not asleep because you can't wake someone up from a freeze. So you can freeze someone and then still drop an AoE attack and not have to worry about getting rid of the freeze. So, and it's on the first skill, which is nice. Now, you can't do this to dungeon bosses. You can't do this to clan boss. You can really only do this to minions in campaign waves and people in arena. So it does give him some utility in arena. If you wanted to take him into arena offense, you certainly have an opportunity to lock down someone on the other team with the first skill freeze. So it's not a bad skill, and it's nice that it's on the first skill. It's basically a bonus to whatever damage he's doing with the first skill. So I don't hate it. I'm not against it. It's on the first skill. You're not wasting a cooldown or missing out on doing anything else by using this skill. So I don't have a problem with it in this case. Second skill, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of removing one random buff from the target. Now this immediately screams magic potion dungeon at me. The more buffs you can strip off of the magic dungeon boss, the quicker and easier your runs are going to be. So this makes him very viable for the magic potion dungeon in my opinion. And it's on a 4-turn cooldown, 3 turns if you skill him up. I don't know that I'd recommend feeding him your tomes, but if you pull a bunch of them over time and skill him up, that makes him pretty useful for the magic potion dungeon in my opinion. So, or any other dungeon where there's a boss that's getting buffs, but particularly magic potion dungeon is where that really stands out to me. Last skill, attacks all enemies 2 times, has a 33% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. So nice, we've got an AoE slow. Not bad. Not bad at all. This is helpful everywhere except clan boss, honestly. This is nice for campaign, slowing the waves and slowing the bosses in campaign. This is nice for all dungeons. Anytime you can put slows on everybody, whether it's waves in the dungeons or the boss themselves, that's very helpful. It's nice in arena because again, he's also attacking 2 times, so he's doing some damage while putting the slow on everybody. So this is going to give your team a really big advantage to have slows dropped on the whole enemy team. So that's nice. That's a nice little skill. He's got a nice kit. Yeah, let's talk about artifacts. So with him having, his utility is really going to come from landing these debuffs. You're going to want some damage on him too, but you're going to want some accuracy and you're going to want some speed. That's really what we're looking for here. So if you've pulled him very early on, I generally tell players when you're really early, don't worry about crit rate and crit damage right out of the gate, because you can. Here's the way to look at it. You're either focusing on attack percentage and speed and accuracy, which again, throwing that accuracy in the mix makes it a little harder. Generally, it's nice for your attackers to only have to worry about attack percentage and speed when you're really new, because you don't have a lot of artifacts, you don't have a lot of specific artifacts especially, so it's really hard to even find the stats you want to begin with. But now imagine that you also have to throw crit rate and crit damage into the mix. So if you're brand new and you're trying to run for attack percentage, speed, crit rate, crit damage, and accuracy, that's very stat hungry. That's 5 very important stats you're trying to focus on. So don't worry about crit rate and crit damage right out of the gate. Wait until you start getting some gear, some more artifacts. Wait till you get to the crit rate stage in the campaign and you can start farming some at least specific crit rate gear to fill certain slots, and then you can start worrying about crit rate. But generally early on I say focus on attack percentage. So as for artifact sets, I'd say you're definitely going to want an accuracy set in the mix. We want to bump his accuracy up as much as we can without sacrificing too much of the attacker speed that we're looking for. So I would throw an accuracy set in the mix, and then I'd probably honestly go double attack set, accuracy set on him. And very early I would go attack percentage gloves, attack percentage armor, speed on the boots. Those are the main stats I would be looking for. And then over time, as you begin to get more artifacts and your farming game goes up a little bit, I would start to incorporate some crit rate percentage as a main stat onto the gloves, and then maybe drop one of the attack sets for a crit rate set. But again, that's going to come later because you're going to be transitioning from focusing on three main stats to 5 main stats. So in your substats, I'd be looking for attack percentage, speed, and accuracy. Just the 3 main stats that we're trying to put on him. And then later on, be looking for crit rate, crit damage in the substats as well. And I think he's really going to shine for you in the Magic Potion dungeon, but I think he's got utility through the campaign and through a lot of the dungeons. I mean, that AoE slow is nice. And you want to make sure you get the accuracy on him so that he lands it. You got the buff strip here, which is nice in several of the dungeons. And yeah, I think he's going to be Magic Potion Dungeon MVP with the strips. That's going to come in really clutch. And then I think he's going to be good through a lot of the PvE content aside from Clan Boss. So not a bad little champ, actually. Not a bad little champ. I'd say my rating out of 10 for him, let's go like... Let's go like 6 to 6.5. I think he's a little above average as far as the rare champs go. Not only do you have potential to get some nice damage out of him, he's bringing utility in every single skill he's got. He's got a triple attack here. He's got AoE here that also drops slows on everybody. He's potentially stripping 3 buffs here, and he's dropping a freeze on the first skill. I think he's got a good amount of utility. I'd even go like 6.5. 6.5. I think is a solid. I think he's pretty above average based on his utility in PvE content. So yeah, pretty cool little champ. I wasn't expecting that, actually. I don't know why. I didn't expect this out of him. But yeah, pretty fun. Base speed's a little low. I think that's probably his biggest downside, is that the base speed's a little low. But again, you throw some speed as a main stat on the boots and find a little bit of speed in your substats, it won't be a big deal at all. So yeah, Courtier, cool little champ. So that's going to do it for him. If you have any questions about him, drop them in the comments below. If you have any thoughts on anything I've said about him, if you have him and you disagree with me, and you think he's better than I said he was or worse than I said he was, just put all the information we can in the comments. That's really what we're trying to do here, is get all the information out, and there's nothing wrong with having different perspectives for people to reference. So let's get the conversation going down there. That being said, I appreciate you watching. I hope it was helpful. If you want to try to catch me, I stream every weekday on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. That's it. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.